soups and salads and stir fries and stuff like that. But I can tell my energy is starting to dip when that happens 3 to 4 hours. It's free of whey, soy, rice, and junk ingredients. So whey is not the way to go because it is very processed. And all milk, it's basically over-processed milk. And all dairy is very acidic to the body. So if you probably heard the saying, milk does a body good. Yes, that's true if you're a baby cow. Okay? Because milk is infant calf growth formula. It helps grow a baby calf from 80 pounds to a 400-pound animal. And why is that? It's because it has a hormone in it called IGF-1. It's insulin-like growth factor. And so what it tells your cells to do is it tells them to grow. It tells them to grow. That's good for your healthy cells. But the microscopic, benign, or non-cancerous cells in your body, it tells them to grow too. And so when we're telling our non-cancerous, benign cells to grow, over time, they go from microscopic to tumor size to eventually they want to become cancerous and metastasize or spread to the rest of our body. So we're going to talk about that at the end, how that kind of affects your overall body, but that's why I don't choose whey. Soy is an endocrine disruptor, so if you remember the endocrine system affects your hormone, your appetite, your metabolism. You don't want too much soy. Soy's in a lot of stuff as well. But if you're going to do soy, organic, non-GMO. Over 90% of soy is genetically modified, so you want to do non-GMO as much as possible. Rice. Rice that's derived from China has heavy metal toxicity. Heavy metals negatively affect the brain, and that's because of the nuclear disaster in Fukushima in Japan. With the trade winds, it carried all those heavy metals up to China, so that rice grown there and put in supplements now has heavy metal toxicity if it's sourced from China. So you don't want that. And then junk ingredients. I mean, I can go on for days. Artificial ingredients, preservatives, genetically modified foods, maltodextrin, is derived from corn. These are all things companies put into supplements as fillers or for flavor or as preservatives, but they're junk ingredients because they're not good for us. And then 1 scoop is equivalent to 15 grams of protein. You can see here, you get 43% of your daily value of iron. That's a lot. I actually just met a woman who does live blood analysis, and she mentioned that when your cells have a little white spot in the middle, there's not enough iron. And so you can actually get iron from plant-based sources, and this is also good for women because at that time of the month you lose a lot of blood, and so getting the iron back into your system is really good. And then you get 4 grams of fiber. That's roughly 10% of your daily total intake, just from that 1 scoop of protein powder. So you're getting a lot. And then there's 4 different flavors. So there's vanilla, chocolate, berry, and then unflavored. And it's pea and hemp base. And then there's maca in there for energy, and it's got some stevia. Maca is a root, and it's really good for energy. It's kind of pricey too. It's got it's more of like an exotic root, if you want to think of it that way. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to move on to the next side, and we're going to add some sprouted flax. So this is step 5. Did you know that omega-3s help to reduce inflammation and reduce the risk of depression and anxiety without rancid fish oils? Can anyone guess the average time it takes from the moment they pull the fish out of water and it's flopping on the boat to the moment it's in that capsule as a fish oil?
A couple of months. A year.
It's a little lower, so it's 9 months. 9 months. So if you can imagine a piece of salmon sitting out, in some plastic wrap for 9 months, not good. So what companies do is they specialize in deodorizing the actual fish oil so that when you burp it up, it doesn't stink. So there's a reason they're basically trying to get the smell out, but it's still rancid. So that's why you focus on flax. And then it is sprouted because it releases the nutrients and it helps with absorption. So if you take a little flax seed and you eat it, it wants to pass right through you and turn into a little flaxseed plant tree. When you sprout it, it's basically telling, hey, it's time to grow. So when it says, the seed's like, oh, it's time to grow, let's release some nutrients because we need nutrients to grow properly. And then what we do is we ground it, minimally process it, dehydrate it, and that's what she just put in there. This is a berry flax. And then it can stay on the shelf for 2+ years because it stabilizes the essential fatty acids. If you just ground up flaxseed or use the oil, the moment air hits it, it wants to start to decompose, start the whole circle of life off of Lion King, remember? So we're just trying to postpone that process by sprouting it. All right, and then you get 500 plus milligrams of omegas, that's omega-369, and then you get 4 grams of fiber, 8% of your daily value iron. So if you're keeping track of the iron just from the protein powder and the flax, you get roughly 50% of your daily value iron. Some doctors will say, hey, you can only get it from meat. That's not true. You can get it from iron as well, or excuse me, you get it from plants as well. And then it comes in a flax, berry flax, and tri-omega. The tri-omega is, it's got chia, it's got broccoli seeds, and also has flax seeds. So it has a little higher percentage of the omega-3s.
Lance?
Yes.
I understand, I was told that the iron, usually your body absorbs maybe 5-10% max of what you take in. Iron, is that true?
From plant-based or animal-based?
For anything, and I understand that the one from animals is absorbed easier than the one from plants.
I know there's different types of iron sources, either from plants or animals, but your body is going to be able to utilize the iron still regardless. So the best way actually to do it is to do a live blood analysis and see how your actual cells are receiving that iron. I know that in general, plant-based sources are still going to be able to give your body the benefit it needs.
I had a problem a few years ago where my iron level was kind of low, and I was told, because I don't eat meat, that I should eat meat. So it absorbs the iron easier than plant-based iron.
Well, and we also have to look at who's telling you things too.
Doctor.
So yeah, well,
Doctor,
A doctor that prescribes for the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, which is a crooked organization.
Yeah, I know. I go there.
Yeah, so my goal is to give you, as much truth-based information, but at the same time, like, only 6% of physicians are trained on nutrition.
That's true.
And so they're not getting the type of information that, is more standard. And that's why, like Green Smoothie Girl, she is our mentor. Like, she used to be a professor for over 10 years, so she's very fact-based in her studies, and she focuses on really whole food nutrition for stay-at-home moms. But yeah, that could be something we could look at, with regards to the efficiency of animal-based iron and plant-based iron and how it. But I do know that your body will utilize the iron that you're given from plant-based sources. So I haven't had any issues, and I know that it
Yeah, I
helps a lot.
prefer the plant-based meat.
right? Okay, so we're going to cover, number 6 is actually blending it all together. But before we do that, we're going to add in some other special ingredients, and we're going to talk about them too. So this is trace minerals. Malee's going to talk about this in the next section some more. We're going to put a drop of this in there. This basically fills in the gap from what you're not getting from your food, because our soils are very depleted. So we'll put that in there.
What actually is that?
Yeah.
I'll pass this around.
All right.
We're- So it's here. So it has plant-based sources of like gold, it's got silver, it's got copper, it's got all the trace minerals that are in the soil deep within the earth, but that don't get it to our mass-produced plants. So basically, if there's 72 plus trace minerals, if they're not in the plant, or if they're not in the soil, they're not in the plant. If they're not in the plant, they're not in us.
And these are minerals that our body needs.
Absolutely. Yes. So what happens if you don't get enough vitamin C? Can anyone guess?
Scurvy.
Scurvy. So they used to give lime to people on ships back in the day because of vitamin C deficiency. Can anyone guess what happens if you don't get enough vitamin D? Rickets. You get rickets. Haven't heard of rickets, right? But you get rickets if you don't get enough. And so those are only those are more vitamins.
Is that one of
But
the insects they have here, the rickets?
rickets.
Good. All right,
Nice.
nice.
Yep. Let's get some vitamin D in them. Rickets are gone. And then, can anyone guess what causes aneurysms? What nutrient or the trace mineral is deficient? Aneurysm is when a blood vessel in your brain becomes too thin and bursts. It's kind of like a balloon bursting. Yes?
Iron? I guess iron.
No idea.
It's copper. So copper helps to build the lining of the blood vessels within your brain. And so when copper when your body goes without copper for too long, it can develop a deficiency, which can thin the blood vessels. And so it kind of bursts almost like a gunshot wound to your head. Yeah.
Subtracted from
Mhm.
that bottle that you put in that has all of those,
Yeah.
Trace
where would we have been getting the copper in what foods?
Actually, I can answer that.
Go ahead.
Oh, there we go.
Do you know?
I'll let you, and then I'll add on. Let's see.
Yeah. Copper, your body absorbs it through contact with copper. And so it's called chromium. And many men are deficient in chromium.
Well, where do you get it from? What
What
source?
what is the main source that young men get their calories?
Donald's, Burger King.
No. Actually, beef is relatively low on the list. No,
Really?
it's beer.
I don't drink
I
beer.
was just gonna say that.
Yeah, beer and yeast, beer, yeast.
I'll have one tonight.
So
Is a source of chromium.
No, I don't like
And
it.
chromium is the.
So if you don't drink beer, you're not getting any of
Are
it.
you eating any yeast?
No.
Bread?
You can get it out
Very
of
little.
we're getting this out of the soil, but our soils are becoming so depleted because we're not
I'm getting it through the
replenishing.
copper that's on my list.
I used to have one of those.
So to answer your question,
Yeah.
hey, where do we get it? The problem is that we're not getting it.
We're not getting
So
it.
that is
So
creating
this is a
deficiency. That's
supplement
one
that
way
will
to
give
get
it
it,
to
yes,
us.
that's one way. And it's a plant-based colloidal, she's gonna talk more about the trace minerals in the next section. But I will kind of recap here for the benefits of this. And so when you look at the 30-day green smoothie challenge, you're like, hey, what's the benefits? 85% of people said they had more energy.
We just go this way.
79% said they had better digestion. 50% said they had weight loss. Then you get a decreased heart disease risk. You get decreased cancer risk, and you can see the China study at the very bottom we'll talk about. And then,
Familiar with that?
what's that?
Familiar with that?
Yes, China study is a great study. And then you get 10 to 15 minutes to make this, so it's quick and easy. 700% more nutrition than the average American, because you get 10 to 15 servings of fruits and veggies with this. Can anyone guess how many servings of fruits and vegetables a standard American is getting each day?
One.
Yes, 1 to 2. And it's typically in the form of French fries, ketchup, and juice. So none of those are good sources of that. All right, and then you get 15 grams of extra fiber, and then you get 25 grams of extra protein. And the World Health Organization says a healthy adult only needs about 25 grams of protein per day. How many times have you heard of somebody having a protein deficiency? If you've ever heard of it, it's probably because they have a fat deficiency, a carb deficiency, and a food deficiency, because they probably don't have anything to eat. And so protein deficiency is not the issue. It's the quality of the protein and what's in it as well, and how it's processed too. We're going to blend it up for roughly 30 seconds, and then Lee's going to talk about solution 2 after that.
Person gets starved.
Oh, the
waiting for
super
this
foods.
drink.
Oh, okay. There's
What's that?
Person gets starved waiting for this drink.
I know, I tell you.
I'm feeling depleted.
we do have some extra food in the room.
Okay, I'm gonna turn on the handy dandy smoothie button here. So it's gonna count down 30 seconds of smoothie blending power before it's ready to serve.
Yeah.
And I'm holding on to the lid.
All right. So we're going to pour these up.
Why did they do that?